I had to get real today. I had to get real today. Man. I met I had a scenario today with my oldest, and feeling really jammed up about it. And I realized when I was just observing what I'm so jammed up about. I realized I was throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And there's a saying, actually. The saying goes, "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater." And the translation of that basically is like, don't throw out a good thing trying to get over a bad thing. Um, and just like, or see the good in something before you just toss it all out. That's another way of that's another way of looking at it. So I see that I I just, like, man, I got this real thought today that just made me really sad, and just like gave me a wallop. And I was looking at the scenario. I mean, we had a blow up, and it ended up that I didn't get time that I wanted to, or that I'm supposed to have with them, and I gave up really quick. I just, like, I was triggered. And there's, I could get into why and all these things. And man, yeah. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I've been uncovering some old wounds and completing some wounds, and some trauma, and digging into some trauma. So I just, I have a sense that that could have contributed to what's happening, or what's been going on, or what happened today. And I recognize, like, here's the first thought. I recognize, like, wow, I'm really attaching him to the pain and resentment that I have towards the relationship with my co-parent. And it's tough. It's tough, man. Because I have to be able to, uh, as much as I don't like the relationship I have with the co-parent, like, I gotta, and as much as I want to get away from that relationship, I think that's the piece that was really, as much as I want to get away from that relationship, I can't get away from that relationship completely. And there's a frustrating part in that for me. Because especially with my kids, like, I'm a non-custodial dad, so it's not like I really have a huge say in how they're being raised, in my judgment. My presence is just my presence, and I just have a lot of story around, when they have a certain attitude or they do this. I'm just like, I automatically associate it with the co-parent, and that's not true. That's not true. It could just be that that's who they are. Like, like, look, right now it's just like, it's not my thing, or whatever it is. For them, for the kid. Um, it's interesting because it's not about him. It's about what I learned in that moment, after the moments. Because I took him home and I was just, like, pissed. I was fucking pissed, man. I'm not even gonna kid you. I'm just like, and what's going through my mind is like, why bother? Like, like, dang, like, this kid wants to go home, and just because I'm just like, yo, man, what happened there? Because I called him out on something. And, like, that brought me to a space where I was with his mom. Like, okay, like, not receiving feedback, and that's a trigger for me. Because then it's like, I feel like what it really came down to is, I feel like when people set the rules and then they change the game. And that triggered the hell out of me. That just triggers me, period. And I just, like, I didn't want to, I wasn't going to tolerate any bullshit. So I was like, oh, you want to go home? Okay. All right. I'm not gonna try and keep you here. And there's a piece that's like, well, you're his father, blah blah blah, and yeah, I get that, I get that. And at the same time, as his dad, like, I'm gonna call him on his shit. Like that's, listen, like it's a crazy world out there. Um, and if you can't take, in my judgment, if you can't take getting called on your shit, then like, hey, you know what? It's gonna be a lot harder. So, as my job, as I feel in my story, my job as his guide is to give him the tools so that he can manage himself and thrive as what he wants to do. So I'm getting off the point, but the thing that I realized in that moment was like, wow, I'm like aligning him to her. And that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Like I'm trying to get past this relationship and I'm just not present with him as his own entity. As the baby, I'm not throwing out with the bathwater. Now the other piece that I got when I left, when I dropped him off, I was like, I got really into after I got past the anger, I got into a sorrow place because I recognized that, man, I energetically am detaching from him. And that hurt me because, like, that's how I am in relationships. If I feel like I'm gonna get hurt, I emotionally detach. Like I'm like, dear, like I'm out. Click, click, snips. And it was like a lot of times I'm like, I wish I'd never met his mom. And then like me saying that, and beginning to recognize the power of words, is like I'm energetically disconnecting from my kid. And that hurt, man. I was like, yeah, whew, yeah, yeah. So I put this out here because if you've been in a relationship that has not been harmonious, and you have offspring from that relationship that has not been harmonious, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Uh, if you're like me and you get triggered, I invite you to learn from my mistake. And if I could do it differently, what I would do is I would take a breath, let us both cool down, and figure what was up, what I did to make him upset, or what I said that triggered him to get upset, and then communicate with him why I got upset. Would that work? I don't know. I didn't do it because that's what I would do if it came up again. So that's what I'm telling you. I invite you to learn from my lesson. If you're a non-custodial parent, dad, and you get triggered, just take a moment and just breathe and just get like see the whole picture, and once you investigate, like, hey, what did I say that what like hey, what happened, like what did I say that made you mad or got you sad or got you frustrated, and if you as a parent got triggered, dive a little deeper beyond the trigger with the kid. Does the trigger have anything to do with your past relationship? Because if it does, you may be like me, like disconnecting energetically, and that could be impacting your relationship with your kid. So as I learn and integrate, I teach and guide because listen, I don't have all the answers, and I'm one big toe ahead of you. So, and I'm a guide. So if there's something that you can learn from this, great. And if you share it, because you're going through, some other guy going through this or somebody going through this that could use the message, share it, look it up, like it, whatever you want to do. But it's good for me to get this energy out there and this stuff out here energetically, and it's a beautiful thing. So thanks for watching, and subscribe. More videos like this coming from the Wellness Men's Guide, the New Wellness Guide, helping you to just find your most empowered self, your most authentic self, your most lovable self. And I'm out.